The text came through at 6:17 a.m., the vibration cutting through the hazy, pre-dawn anxiety that had been my constant companion for weeks. I, Maya, was in the final, brutal stretch of my junior year at State, and my advanced biochemistry final, the one that would make or break my chance at the competitive summer research internship, started at 8 a.m. sharp. I squinted at the screen. It was from my father. Dad, family emergency. Serena's nanny called in sick. Kids have no one. You need to come to her house by 7:30. Exam can wait. My heart didn't sink, it plummeted. Serena, my older sister, the golden child, married to a hedge fund manager, living in a McMansion 30 minutes away, with 3 kids under 5 who were less like kids and more like tiny, shrieking tornadoes. Her emergencies were a monthly occurrence: a Pilates class conflict, a last-minute spa weekend with the girls, a nail appointment that couldn't possibly be rescheduled. But this was my final, the culmination of 16 weeks of 4 a.m. study sessions, of living off coffee and desperation, of proving to myself I could do this, be the first person in our family to not just go to college, but to excel in a hard science. My fingers trembled as I typed back. Dad, I can't. My biochem final is at 8. It's 40% of my grade. The internship. The 3 dots appeared immediately, then his call. Maya. His voice was a tired bark, the one he used for business negotiations that weren't going his way. This isn't a debate. Serena is stressed. Jason is on a business trip. The kids need family right now. Your exam can be made up. Family comes first, always. The old mantra, family comes first. It was the unspoken law of our household, and it always translated to Serena's needs come first. Professor Kloss doesn't allow makeups for finals, I said, my voice small. It's in the syllabus, 0 exceptions. Then you'll explain it to him. Tell him it was a family emergency. He'll understand. Now be at Serena's by 7:30. Your mother and I have a closing at 9 we can't miss. He hung up. I sat on the edge of my lumpy dorm bed, the silence ringing in my ears. I looked at my notes, a sea of highlighted Krebs cycles and enzyme pathways. I thought of Dr. Kloss, a man whose nickname was the Iron Chancellor for his inflexibility. A family emergency? He'd ask for a doctor's note or a death certificate. A sick nanny wouldn't register. Another text, this time from my mother. Sweetheart, please just do this for your sister. She's overwhelmed. We're counting on you. You're so good with the kids. We'll make it up to you. They never made it up to me. Last time, I'd missed a midterm to dog sit Serena's prized French bulldog, and my makeup was a take-home essay that was graded twice as hard. The time before, I'd given up a paid campus tour guide shift to wait for the dishwasher repairman at Serena's house. I never saw the money. A cold, hard clarity crystallized in my chest. If I went to Serena's, I would fail. The internship, my ticket to a real career, to independence, to a life where I wasn't on permanent standby for my sister's domestic hiccups, would vanish. If I went to the exam, I would be branded the selfish, ungrateful daughter. The fallout would be nuclear. I looked at the clock. 6:32 a.m. I got up, I showered, I dressed in my lucky hoodie, I packed my pencils and calculator, and I made a decision. I texted my father back. Me. You're right, family comes first. Of course I'll be there, 7:30. Then I texted my mother. Mom, don't worry, I've got it handled. I sent the same to Serena, adding a heart emoji for good measure. Then I turned my phone completely off. I shoved it into the very bottom of my backpack, buried under textbooks. I walked out of my dorm, the morning air cool and sharp, and turned left toward the science building, not right toward the bus stop that would take me to Serena's perfect suburb. For the first time in my life, I was going to choose myself, and I was going to let them think I'd chosen them until it was too late for them to stop me.
The science building was a temple of quiet tension. Pockets of students muttered last-minute mnemonics, their faces pale under the fluorescent lights. I found a spot on a bench, pulled out my notes, and began my final review. My hands were steady. The guilt was there, a gnawing worm in my gut, but it was smothered by a stronger, more potent feeling: determination. This was my life. This was my chance. At 7:55, we were allowed into the lecture hall. Dr. Kloss stood at the front, arms crossed, looking like a hawk surveying a field of mice. "You have 3 hours, no exceptions. Phones off and in bags at the front. Good luck." I placed my backpack with its silently screaming phone at the front of the room. I took my seat. The exam booklet was placed before me. I took a deep breath and began. For 3 hours, the world shrank to the page in front of me. There was no Serena, no disappointed parents, no screeching children. There was only pyruvate decarboxylation and oxidative phosphorylation. I wrote until my hand cramped. I solved equations. I diagrammed pathways. I was in the zone, a state of pure focus I'd never achieved before. Perhaps because for the first time, I had truly, actively fought for it. At 11:05, I put my pencil down. I had done it. I hadn't left a question blank. I might not have aced it, but I had taken it. That alone felt like a monumental victory. As I walked out of the hall, a wave of exhaustion hit me, followed by a spike of dizzying dread. My phone. The fallout. I retrieved my backpack, turned my phone on, and waited for the apocalypse. It didn't just buzz, it erupted, a volcano of notifications. 27 missed calls. Dad, Mom, Serena. 53 unread messages. I didn't read them. I opened my camera roll first. Before the exam, I had asked the girl next to me, a friendly acquaintance from lab, to take a few pictures of me studying at my desk. I'd posed with my notes, looking stressed. Then, as the exam started, I'd discreetly placed my phone on the floor under my chair, set to a wide-angle, silent video mode. It was a risk, but I needed proof. The video showed 90 minutes of my focused face, the exam booklet, the clock on the wall, the other students, indisputable evidence of where I was. Then I scrolled to my messages. The timeline was a masterpiece of escalating fury. 7:35 a.m., Serena, "Where are you? The kids are having meltdowns and I have a wellness brunch." 7:45 a.m., Dad, "Answer your phone, now." 8:15 a.m., Mom, "Honey, we're getting worried. Your father is very upset. Please call." 8:30 a.m., Serena, "Dad had to cancel his closing. Mom is here now, but she's furious. What is wrong with you?" 9 a.m., Dad, "You have betrayed this family. You lied to me. You abandoned your sister in her time of need. When you get this, come home immediately. We are discussing your future under this roof." And then the piece de resistance, sent an hour ago. "Mom, how could you? How could you be so selfish and deceitful after all we've done for you? Serena is heartbroken. We saw the photos her friend tagged you in at the library last week. We know you were on campus. We know you took the test. How could you?" So they'd been checking my social media, using it to stalk my whereabouts. The betrayal wasn't just mine, it was mutual. I took a screenshot of all the messages, I saved the video and the photos. Then I took a deep breath and called my mother. She picked up on the first ring. "Where are you?" Her voice was cold, sharper than I'd ever heard her. "I just finished my biochemistry final," I said, my voice calm, clear. "I'm leaving campus now." A stunned silence, then sputtering. "You what? After you promised your father? After you said you'd come? I said, "Of course," I replied, starting the walk back to my dorm. "Of course my education comes first. Of course I'm not going to throw away a 40% final and a career-making internship because Serena's nanny has the flu. Of course I'm done setting myself on fire to keep my sister warm." I could hear her gasp and my father's angry voice in the background demanding the phone. "You ungrateful little—" But I cut him off. "Dad, I'm 20 years old. I pay for my dorm with my own loans and work study. I bought my textbooks with my own money. The only thing you pay for is my phone, and you can turn that off today if you want. I'll get a prepaid one. You will get in your car and you will come home right now to apologize to your sister," he roared. "No," I said. The word was small, but it felt like shattering a chain. "I have a shift at the library in 2 hours. Then I have to start packing. The summer internship lab housing starts next week." "You think you're getting that internship after this?" my mother hissed, back on the line. "We'll call your professor. We'll explain your lack of character." "You can try," I said, a small, hard smile touching my lips. "But Dr. Kloss has already submitted the grades, and I have video evidence of me taking the entire exam, time-stamped in case anyone tries to say I didn't. My academic record is secure." The silence on the other end was complete. I had outmaneuvered them. They had no leverage. "You've torn this family apart," my mother whispered, the anger dissolving into devastated theatrics. "The family was already broken," I said softly, but with finality. "It was just built around Serena. I was never a supporting pillar. I was the rug. Well, I'm done being the rug." I hung up. I turned my phone off again. I walked into my dorm, packed a bag with essentials, and went to my library shift. The world hadn't ended. The sky hadn't fallen. In fact, the air felt clearer, lighter. The bomb had been dropped. Now I had to live in the aftermath.
The following week was a masterclass in silent treatment and strategic survival. My parents cut off my phone plan, as predicted. I got a cheap prepaid phone and only gave the number to my boss, my professors, and my one steadfast friend, Chloe. The family group chat was a graveyard. My social media was flooded with vague, dramatic posts from Serena about betrayal and learning who your real family is, liked enthusiastically by my parents. But I was too busy to care. I aced my other finals. I officially received the summer research internship at the university's prestigious med lab, a paid position with housing. Dr. Kloss, when I went to collect my exam, I got a B+, enough to secure the A in the course I needed, gave me a rare, approving nod. "Heard you had some family drama on exam day. Glad you didn't let it derail you. Tenacity is what separates the good from the great in this field." His words were a balm. Tenacity, not selfishness. Tenacity. I moved out of my dorm and into the intern housing, a small but private studio that felt like a castle. The silence was my own. The time was my own. The first crack in their united front came from my mother, 3 weeks into summer, a text to my new number. "Mom, we need to talk. Your father is still very hurt, but we're worried about you." I didn't reply. The "we're worried" was classic, a Trojan horse for guilt. Then a package arrived at my lab with no note. Inside was my childhood photo album and a few other sentimental items I'd left at home. It was a clear message: you are no longer of this house. It stung, but it also felt like a release of custody. The real turn came unexpectedly from Serena. She showed up at my lab one afternoon, looking harried without the kids. She'd lost the serene, polished glow. She looked tired. "Can we talk 5 minutes?" she asked, her voice lacking its usual commanding edge. We sat on a bench outside. "The nanny quit," she said, bluntly. "Mom and Dad are exhausted from helping me. Jason is never home. I'm drowning." I waited. I wasn't going to offer help. "I'm sorry," she said, the words seeming to shock her as much as they shocked me. "I didn't realize how much they asked of you. I just assumed you were fine with it, that you didn't mind." "I always minded," I said, my voice quiet. "You just never asked." She flinched. "Dad always said family helps family, no questions. And did you ever help me? When I had to work 3 nights in a row during midterms, did you ever offer to make me a meal? When I was sick with the flu last winter, did you check in? Or was the help only supposed to flow one way, from me to you?" She had no answer. The golden child had never been required to see the economy of the family, only to benefit from it. "I'm not asking for your help now," she said, finally, looking at her hands. "I guess I just wanted you to know I see it now, and I'm sorry it took me losing my free babysitter to see it." It wasn't a full redemption, it was a crack of awareness. It was enough. A week later, my father called. Not my mother, my father. His voice was heavy, stripped of its bluster. "The internship, it's going well?" "It is. I'm learning a lot." A long pause. "Your mother, she's not well. This rift, it's hard on her." The old dynamic. Use mom's distress as the ultimate weapon. But I was armored now. "I'm sorry to hear that. I mean it. But my choices weren't about hurting mom. They were about saving my future. A future you never seemed to think was as important as Serena's present." Another silence. Then a grudging admission. "That internship, it's at the Crawford Lab?" "Yes. I read about it. In the journal. It's prestigious." He sounded almost impressed. For my father, a self-made businessman, prestige and results were the ultimate currencies. My path of selfishness was starting to look like a path of strong returns in his ledger. "It is," I said. Your mother would like to have dinner next week, if you're free." It wasn't an apology, it was a white flag, a negotiation for a new treaty with new terms. I went to dinner. It was awkward, stilted. My mother cried, my father talked about market volatility, Serena didn't come. But they asked about my work. They listened. They didn't demand anything. As I was leaving, my father handed me an envelope. "For your phone bill," he muttered. Inside was $200 in cash. Not control, not payment for services, a peace offering. I took it. "Thank you." Walking back to my studio that night, I realized the victory wasn't in the dinner or the money. The victory had happened the moment I walked into that exam hall. Everything after was just the new, quieter reality settling in. I had replied easily to their "how could you?" because the answer was simple. I had to. For the first time, I had prioritized my own survival, my own destiny, and in doing so, I hadn't destroyed my family, I had simply forced it to finally make space for me within it, not as the helper, the backup, the rug, but as Maya, the student, the scientist. Their daughter, yes, but on her own terms. And that was a reply that didn't need any more words.